Most people over 65 are told the same thing about their legs. Just keep walking and you will be fine. It sounds sensible, it sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Walking alone does not protect your ability to stand up from a chair without using your hands. Walking keeps the muscle you already have moving. It does almost nothing to stop that muscle from quietly disappearing while you sleep. And after 65, it is disappearing faster than you think. In rehabilitation and orthopedic clinics, this pattern shows up every single day. A person who walks every morning, who feels active, who is shocked the first time their legs will not lift them off a low couch. The strength did not vanish overnight. It drained away one morning at a time, on a schedule almost nobody explains to them. So today, I am going to give you 5 morning habits that protect the muscle in your legs, the muscle that keeps you independent for the next 10 years. And I am going to give you the one habit that most doctor visits never have time to mention. The number 1 item on this list is something almost nobody talks about, and it costs you nothing. Stay with me until the end, because that one habit can change how the next 10 years of your life actually feel. Here is the part that makes me angry on your behalf. Your doctor is not hiding this from you. Your doctor simply does not have the time. The average appointment for someone your age runs about 12 minutes. In 12 minutes, a good doctor can check your blood pressure, review your medications, and answer 1 or 2 questions. There is no room in 12 minutes to teach you how muscle is built and lost after 65. So prevention, the part that actually keeps you out of a walker, gets left out. Not because it does not matter, because there is no time. I want to be clear about something before we go one step further. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. No miracle powders, no fear. Just what the research actually shows and what you can do with it tomorrow morning. Because the real stake here is not living longer. The real stake is staying the person who gets up without help. The person who steps into the car without planning it. The person whose family never has to have the quiet conversation about moving them somewhere safer. If you are over 65 and you have already felt your legs hesitate on the stairs, type your age and your country in the comments right now. I want to see who is here with me. Before the list, you need to understand one thing, because it is the key to everything that follows. Please do not skip this section. There is a single process behind almost all leg muscle loss after 65, and it has a name. It is called anabolic resistance. Here is what that means in plain language. When you were 40, your muscles listened closely for protein in your blood, and the moment it arrived, they used it to rebuild. After 65, your muscles go a little deaf. Think of your younger muscle as a delivery driver who stops at every single house on the street. Now think of your older muscle as a driver who only stops if you leave the porch light on and stand at the door waving. The protein is still on the truck. Your muscle just needs a much stronger signal to take delivery. And the signal it needs is a bigger dose of protein at one sitting, not a little sprinkled across the day. That single idea, one strong morning signal instead of a weak scattered one, is what every habit on this list is built around. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. Number 5 is a simple one that almost everyone gets wrong. Front load your protein at breakfast. Most people eat their smallest protein at breakfast and their largest at dinner. A little milk and coffee, some toast, maybe a banana. Then a big protein dinner 12 hours later. Remember the delivery driver who only stops when the signal is strong. A tiny breakfast is a porch light too dim to see. Your muscle sleeps through the delivery, and the morning rebuild never happens. Large clinical trials on protein distribution have consistently shown the same thing. Spreading protein evenly across the day builds more muscle than piling it all into one evening meal. Here is the protocol, with real numbers. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, not 10, not 15. 25 to 30, because that is roughly the dose older muscle needs to wake up and listen. In practical food terms, that is 3 large eggs plus a cup of Greek yogurt, or a cup of cottage cheese with a handful of nuts. Eat it within about an hour of waking, while your body is primed to use it. The common mistake is thinking coffee and toast counts. It does not even come close. Now, if cooking 3 eggs every morning feels like too much while standing at the stove, sit down for this one. Prepare it sitting at the kitchen table with a bowl of yogurt and pre-boiled eggs you cooked the day before. If chewing or appetite is a problem in the morning, a simple protein shake with milk gets you the same 25 grams with no cooking at all. Stop and check with your doctor first if you have kidney disease, because higher protein needs a professional eye in that case. Pair this habit with water. Have a full glass before you eat, because older bodies wake up mildly dehydrated, and muscle rebuilds better when you are not running dry. Getting the breakfast dose right sets the table, but protein without a second ingredient is like lumber delivered with no carpenter to nail it together. That missing carpenter is the next habit, and it fixes something breakfast alone never can. Number 4 is the one people find hardest to believe. Add a short walk after that protein breakfast, but a specific kind of walk, not for distance. For your blood sugar and your muscle signal. When you eat protein and then move within the next 30 minutes, your muscles open their doors wider to take in the nutrients. Picture the protein as guests arriving at a house, and gentle movement as the person who finally opens the door and lets them in. Sit still after eating, and many of those guests just stand on the porch and leave. Research on post-meal movement in older adults has consistently shown better blood sugar control and better muscle response when a light walk follows the meal. Here is the protocol: 10 to 15 minutes of easy walking, starting within 30 minutes of finishing breakfast. Easy means you can still talk in full sentences the whole time. Do it every morning and build from 10 minutes in week 1 to 15 minutes by week 3. The mistake people make is walking hard and fast, treating it like exercise. This is not exercise. This is a signal. Keep it gentle. If balance outdoors worries you, do this indoors. Walk the hallway or hold a kitchen counter and march gently in place for the same 10 minutes. If you feel any chest pressure, sharp pain, or real dizziness, stop and sit down. That is a stop, not a push through. Pair this walk with sunlight if you can. Step outside or sit by a bright window, because morning light helps your sleep that night, and better sleep is when muscle actually rebuilds. You have now fed the muscle and signaled it to accept the food. But feeding and signaling still leave out the one thing that actually forces muscle to grow, and that is what number 3 is for. Number 3 is where we stop feeding the muscle and start challenging it. Add sit to stand repetitions before lunch. This is the single most honest test of leg independence there is, because it is the exact movement you use to get off the toilet, out of the car, and up from a dining chair. Here is the mechanism. Muscle only holds onto its strength if you regularly ask it to lift your body weight. Think of your leg strength like a bank account the body is always trying to close for you. Every time you stand up from a chair under your own power, you make a deposit and the account stays open. Skip it for months, and the body quietly closes the account to save energy. Clinical guidelines for older adults have consistently supported simple strength movements like this for maintaining mobility. Here is the protocol, with exact numbers. Sit in a sturdy dining chair. Stand up fully, then sit down slowly with control. That is 1 repetition. Do 10 of them. Rest 1 minute. Then do a second set of 10. That is 20 total, once a day, before lunch. The error almost everyone makes is dropping down fast and letting the chair catch them. The slow way down is where half the strength is built, so lower yourself over 3 full seconds. If 10 is too many at first, do 5, and add 1 repetition each week. If standing without hands is too hard, this is your senior safe version. Place your hands lightly on the chair arms or a counter, and use as little push as you need. Put a firm cushion on the seat to raise it, which makes the first rise easier. If you feel sharp knee or hip pain, stop. That is not the muscle you are training. Pair this with your protein breakfast from earlier, because the repetitions tear the muscle down slightly, and the morning protein is what rebuilds it stronger. You are now building strength. But strength in your thighs means little if the foundation underneath, your feet and ankles, cannot keep you upright, and that gap is exactly what number 2 closes. Number 2 protects the part of your legs everyone forgets until they fall. Train your balance and your ankles every single morning. Most leg programs stop at the big muscles and ignore the ankles and the tiny stabilizers, and that is precisely why strong seniors still fall. Here is the mechanism. Balance is a skill your nervous system keeps only if you practice it, and the sensors in your feet and ankles fade fast when unused. Think of your balance system like a smoke detector. Test it regularly, and it stays sharp and ready. Leave it for years, and the battery quietly dies, and you only find out at the worst possible moment. Research on fall prevention in older adults has consistently shown that simple daily balance training reduces the risk of falls. Here is the protocol. Stand behind a sturdy chair with your hand resting on it. Lift 1 foot slightly off the floor and hold your balance on the other leg for 10 seconds. Switch feet. Do that 3 times on each side. Then rise up onto your toes 10 times to wake up the ankles and calves. The mistake is holding the chair in a death grip. The goal is to touch it, not lean on it, so use 1 or 2 fingers as your confidence grows. If one leg is too hard, keep both feet down and just practice shifting your weight side to side. Always have that chair or a wall within reach. If you feel unsteady or dizzy, sit down immediately. That is your stop condition. Pair this with the sight-to-stand work, because strong thighs and sharp balance together are what turn a stumble into a nothing moment instead of a broken hip. Everything so far, the protein, the walk, the standing, the balance, feeds into one final habit that ties them all together and matters more than any of them. This is the one almost nobody talks about. Number 1, the crown, is the habit that protects everything else you just learned, and it is the one most appointments never mention. Protect your deep sleep and anchor it with a consistent morning wake time. I know how this sounds. You came for leg strength, and the most important item is sleep. Stay with me, because this is the habit that quietly decides whether the other 4 even work. Here is the mechanism, and it is the heart of everything. Your muscle is not built while you exercise. It is built while you sleep, during the deepest stage of the night. During deep sleep, your body releases most of its natural growth hormone, the exact signal that tells your muscles to repair the damage from your sight to stand and rebuild with the protein you ate. Think of your day as delivering all the bricks and lumber to a construction site. Deep sleep is the only shift when the crew actually shows up and builds. Miss that shift night after night, and the materials just pile up unused while the house never rises. This is why 2 people can do the very same exercises and eat the very same protein, and only one gets stronger. The one who sleeps deeply is the one whose crew shows up. And here is the cruel twist for our age group. Deep sleep naturally shrinks as we get older, right when we need it most to fight muscle loss. So protecting it is not optional. It is the foundation the other 4 habits are built on. Research on sleep and muscle recovery has consistently shown that poor sleep is linked to faster muscle loss and weaker physical function in older adults. Here is the protocol, and this is the fullest one on the list, so stay with me. First, wake up at the same time every single day, weekends included, because a steady wake time is the strongest anchor for deep sleep the following night. Pick your time, say 7 in the morning, and hold it within about 15 minutes. Second, get bright light into your eyes within 30 minutes of waking, ideally that morning walk from habit 4, because light sets the clock that releases deep sleep 14 hours later. Third, stop caffeine by early afternoon. No coffee after about 2 in the afternoon, because caffeine lingers in an older body for many hours and steals the deep stage without you noticing. Fourth, keep the bedroom cool and fully dark, because a cool, dark room measurably deepens sleep. Fifth, stop eating about 3 hours before bed, because late digestion pulls your body out of the deep stage. The common mistake is chasing the number of hours in bed while ignoring the quality, lying there for 9 hours of shallow, broken sleep and wondering why the workouts are not paying off. Quality is the target, not just quantity. Now for the senior safe modifications, because sleep advice has to bend to real life. If you wake in the night to use the bathroom, which is common, use only the dimmest possible light so you do not switch your brain fully on. If pain wakes you, talk to your doctor about it, because untreated pain is one of the biggest thieves of deep sleep. And if you take any sleep or sedative medication, do not stop or change it on your own. Talk to your doctor before changing anything, because those medications must be adjusted carefully and never suddenly. Pair this habit with every other one on this list, because your morning protein, your walk, your standing, and your balance work are all just deposits, and deep sleep is the only night the bank actually processes them into real strength. This is why it is number 1. Do the first 4 and skip this, and you are delivering bricks to a site where the crew never clocks in. Protect your sleep, and the next 10 years of walking, standing, and living on your own terms are built on solid ground. That is the habit almost nobody talks about, and now you know why it changes everything. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman who had started using her hands to push herself out of every chair. She had begun planning her day around which seats she could escape from, avoiding the soft, low couch entirely. She had quietly stopped going to her book club because the low seats there embarrassed her in front of friends. She walked every single morning and could not understand why her legs kept weakening anyway. Nothing was wrong with her effort or her willingness. Her signal was just too weak and too scattered to reach older muscle. She changed 5 things over 12 weeks, nothing dramatic. She moved her protein to the morning, 25 grams at breakfast instead of a slice of toast. She added a 10-minute walk right after it. She did 2 sets of sit-to-stands before lunch and a few minutes of balance work each morning, and she protected her sleep with a fixed wake time and no coffee after 2. By week 4, the stairs felt less frightening. By week 8, she stopped using her hands to rise from the dining chair. By week 12, she walked back into that book club and stood up from the low seat without a thought and without her hands. Nothing exotic happened to her. 5 small morning habits, aimed at the real mechanism, given enough weeks to actually work. So let me give you your action matrix, the exact plan you can start from tomorrow morning. Keep it simple, because 5 small habits you actually repeat beat a perfect plan you abandoned by Friday. Tonight, set 1 alarm for a consistent wake time and move your coffee cutoff to 2 in the afternoon. This week, build 1 25-gram protein breakfast you actually enjoy and can repeat 5 mornings out of 7. Also this week, add 1 10-minute walk within 30 minutes of that breakfast every single day. Starting Monday, do 2 sets of 10 sit-to-stands before lunch, lowering slowly over 3 seconds each time. And every morning, before you even leave the kitchen, do 3 balance holds on each leg and 10 rises onto your toes. 5 steps, every one of them small, every one of them a deposit in the account that keeps you standing on your own. Think of someone in your life who has started using their hands to get out of a chair, a parent, a spouse, a friend, someone who is quietly worried about it. Send them this video, because the earlier they start, the more of these 10 years they get to keep on their own 2 feet. Do not let them wait until a fall makes the decision for them. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 habits you are starting tonight. Your answers genuinely decide exactly what I cover next on this channel. And if you want the science that a 12-minute appointment never has the time to give you, subscribe to this channel, because giving you that science is the entire reason it exists. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Nathan Reeves. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.